the cost of war. And you know how much America has paid to push the neoconservative agenda from the synagogue of Satan? And by the way, the synagogue of Satan doesn't mean that everybody in it is Jewish. That's right. It's a combination of people, Gentile Jews, black and white, that agree on an idea. And some on a lesser level do not know what those on the highest level are doing. But they always give you a noble reason for what they're doing. I want to open the Bible for you. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. I wonder who that's talking about. Now listen, I want to quote the Quran to you. I just quoted the Bible. The Quran says, those who are Jews, those who are Christians or Sabaeans, those who believe in Allah and the last days and are the doers of good to others, they have their reward from their Lord. This Quranic verse is sufficient to tell us that there are members of the Jewish faith that are striving to live the life that Moses and the Israelite prophets taught. There are members of the Jewish faith that hold the principles and the teachings of the prophet dear to them. They have to be separated from those who say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Now here's my challenge to the Jewish people. You want good Muslims to condemn bad Muslims. You want good Christians to condemn bad Christians. Well, what about you? What about this synagogue of Satan that say they are Jews and are not? When are you going to rise up and put them down and make them known that you are not of them? Now, some of these Satans have discredited the Jewish faith, the Jewish people. This Satan is getting control of your very senses. The things you see, the things you hear, smell, touch, and feel, so they will master your thinking. So you are not you. You are what Satan has made of you.
From the shadows, they have engineered every major war, revolution, and recession. They control everything you read, everything you hear, and everything you see. They have managed to indoctrinate an entire populace to their way of thinking and have infiltrated key positions in places of authority. And it is from the shadows that they have created a new political order, a new economic order, and more sinister, a new religious order. Their ultimate aim is total global domination, and they will stop at nothing to reach their goal.
There's an American notion that America must export her way of life to all other parts of the world, promoting democracy. It says up at the top, the serpent deceived the whole world. To heal the poisonous bite of the world's serpent, it takes the medicine that God has given to Muhammad. In 100 years, they control movies, television, recording, publishing, commerce, radio. They own it all. The government of America is owned lock, stock, and barrel by those Zionists who love Israel above the United States of America. Right now, Netanyahu can come to America and pull more congressmen and senators to listen to him than the president can pull. You know, it takes money to meddle in the affairs of others. America's spending your tax dollars for regime change in nations all over the world. You don't even know it. That's sad. And now, documents have surfaced that reveal that the so-called Arab Spring didn't start in the Muslim world. Well, where did it start? It started from plans in the United States to take over the Middle East, its natural resources, for the Western world. A four-star U.S. Army General Wesley Clark. Have you heard that name before? Well, let me tell you what he said. He said that 10 years before 9/11, Paul Wolfowitz, I want you to keep remembrance of these names because these are part of a shadow government. Let me say it again. These are part of a shadow government. A shadow government means you got a government out front, but you got another government behind that are trumping the things that the government out front is saying. Mr. Clark said Wolfowitz, the neocon architect of Bush's war on Iraq, told him of plans to clean out the Middle East and take over those Muslim nations. Just 10 days after 9/11, Clark was shown a Pentagon memo that describes how they planned to take out 7 countries, Muslim countries.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the joint staff who used to work for me, and one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs," meaning the Secretary of Defense's office, today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
But their Arab Spring is not going the way they originally intended. And it has now turned into a harsh Arab winter. And this is to say to America that even though you plan, there is a planner over and above your plans